Good afternoon and a warm welcome to the first edition of The World Today. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria, Ibadan Zonal Station, comprising news and feature. In the lineup, Nigeria restates commitment to regional peace. Transport Union stage protest in Osun State. On the foreign scene, UK gets 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. Singapore Minister resigns. Heart of the matter is on the Senate leader's call for consideration of a single 6-year term for the executive, while the feature is on vampire bat. My name is Emilia Ojimudi and I'm reading with
Dayo Adenuga. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Be conscious of your environment. Report any suspicious activity to relevant authorities. And now to the first story. Nigeria has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to regional integration, democratic governance, peace, security, and sustainable development across West Africa. Representing President Bola Tinubu at the 69th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, held in Sierra Leone, Vice President Kashim Shettima underscored Nigeria's continued support for the implementation of the ECOWAS Compact for the future of regional integration. He described it as a strategic framework for building a more resilient, prosperous, inclusive, and people-centered community. The Vice President commended the government and the people of Sierra Leone for hosting the summit and congratulated President Julius Maada Bio on the successful completion of his tenure as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. He also lauded the commissioning of the Julius Maada Bio International Conference Center, describing it as a significant contribution to regional diplomacy and cooperation.
President Bola Tinubu has urged African leaders to jointly condemn the ongoing attacks on Nigerians and other African nationals in South Africa, warning that silence will only encourage intolerance across the continent. The president made the call through Vice President Kashim Shettima during the 69th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government held in Freetown, Sierra Leone. President Tinubu explained that the renewed condemnation follows recent attacks targeting Nigerians and other African nationals in South Africa, incidents that have repeatedly strained diplomatic relations between both countries and prompted previous evacuations by the Nigerian government. The president stated that the federal government has already evacuated more than 1,490 Nigerians from South Africa in 7 separate batches following the attacks and remains prepared to take additional measures if necessary. According to him, Nigeria will continue to protect its citizens while engaging diplomatically with the South African authorities over the recurring attacks.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has dismissed a viral social media claim alleging that it is secretly recruiting personnel, describing the information as false. In a post shared on its official X account, the anti-graft agency warned members of the public against falling for the misinformation. The clarification comes amid recurring online scams in which fraudsters circulate fake recruitment notices in the name of the commission to deceive job seekers and extort money from unsuspecting members of the public. The EFCC has repeatedly maintained that its recruitment are publicly announced through its official channels and not conducted secretly or through third parties. The Commission urged the public to verify any information relating to its activities through its official communication platform before acting on it.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted bail to the national president of Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore, Mr. Bello Bodejo, to the tune of 2 billion naira over alleged money laundering involving $2.63 million. Delivering the judgment after considering Bodejo's bail application, Justice Inyangepo held that the offences against the defendant are bailable and ruled that the court had the discretion to admit him to bail. The court ordered Bodejo to produce 2 sureties in like sum of 2 billion naira. According to the court, one of the sureties must be a resident of Abuja and provide 3 years tax clearance, while the second surety must own landed property worth 2 billion naira within the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). The court equally ordered the Miyetti Allah leader to surrender his international passport to the court's registrar and barred him from traveling outside Nigeria without the court's permission. The case was adjourned until October 5, 6, and 7 this year for the commencement of trial.
The Nigeria Police Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Command has arrested and detained 4 police officers for alleged extorting 53,000 naira from the chairman, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC), Dr. Musa Aliyu. The extortion was reportedly carried out during an illegal stop-and-search operation in Abuja. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Mr. Hamed Sanusi, disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Abuja, saying the officers had no business wearing the police uniform. According to him, the officers mounted an unauthorized checkpoint around the Banex area of Wuse after leaving their duty post and extorted the ICPC chairman without knowing his identity. He said the ICPC boss was forced to withdraw the money through a point-of-sale POS operator and even paid the transaction charges before the officers shared the money amongst themselves.
Members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, and Road Transport Employees Association, RTEAN, have staged a protest following alleged maltreatment, killings and abuse of power by the Alhaji Nuruddin Alowonle and Mr. Akim Karim's leadership of both unions in Osun State, calling for their immediate arrest and prosecution. The members also called on the Inspector General of Police to fish out all criminal elements within the union to ensure a peaceful atmosphere in the state. The protesters converged on the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in the early hours of today and marched through Old Garage, MDX, Olaya, and terminated at the Igbodofin area in Osogbo, the state capital. Radio Nigeria correspondent reports that the transport union members carried placards with inscriptions including "Alonle has become a threat to public security. Government should stop protecting criminals. Alonle must be brought to book. The death of a year-old baby is fresh in our hearts," among other inscriptions. Addressing newsmen, the factional secretary, Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria, RTEAN, Osun State, Mr. Akim Karim, popularly called Imported, alleged that the state chairman, RTEAN, Mr. Jalili Abiuyi, is partisan and members' welfare is not adequately catered for.
We are suffering from this government under the leadership of our state chairman, Comrade Jalili Abiuyi of Road Transport Employer. We don't want him again.
Also speaking, NURTW Factional Secretary Alhaji Fatai Oyeguki noted that the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, had imposed the current NURTW chairman, Mr. Nuruddin Alowonle, on them.
Alowonle was imposed on us by the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, which is against the union constitution. The extant law of the union constitution recognizes us, not him. Our members have been killed by him with his associates. Some have lost. We even see some of them bodies. Some vehicles are burnt. So you have a lot of criminal activities in the sand, which is supposed to be answered to at the court of law.
Alhaji Oyeguki alleged that the union had turned into a political tool, killing and harassing opposing interests within the union, and called for his immediate arrest. Similarly, the Director of Mobilization Local Government Development Initiative, a civil society group, Mr. Orelulu Abiduyi, frowned at the situation in the parks and garages in the state, which, according to him, have been taken over by hoodlums. Police personnel from the Violent Crime Protection Unit were also present to monitor the protest.
The Executive Secretary of the Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Usman Mazadu, says the agency has contained a compressed gas tanker leak in Kaduna South. Mr. Mazadu, while addressing newsmen in Kaduna, said the agency responded jointly with the Kaduna State Fire and Public Safety Agency after receiving a distress call. He said emergency responders secured the scene to prevent any escalation.
The National Business and Technical Examinations Board, NABTEB, has announced the commencement of the 2026 selection and placement of qualified candidates into state and technical colleges nationwide. The Registrar and Chief Executive of NABTEB, Dr. Muhammad Aminu, made this known in Abuja, the nation's capital. Recall that 15,290 candidates had earlier registered for the entrance examination, while 13,848 candidates eventually sat for the tests nationwide. Dr. Aminu explained that 10,426 candidates, representing 75.29%, obtained scores of 50% and above, while 5,708 candidates, representing 41.22%, scored at least 70%. Dr. Aminu said the exercise was a critical stage in the admission process designed to ensure that qualified candidates are fairly and transparently placed into technical colleges across the country. The NABTEB registrar stressed that admissions would be guided by merit, equity, accountability, transparency, and the federal character principle.
This is The World Today, the stories that made the headline. Nigeria has restated commitment to regional peace at ECOWAS 59th Summit. Transport unions stage protest in Osun State. Still to come, the UK gets its 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. Singapore Minister resigns. Stay with us, don't go away.
We're glad to know you're still there. And now to the foreign scene. Former Mayor of Great Manchester, Andy Burnham, has been appointed as the 7th Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Burnham, who was a member of the Labour Party and succeeding Keir Starmer, promised to focus more on the welfare of the people by addressing the cost of living and poorly performing services. The new UK Prime Minister was a Member of Parliament between 2002 and 2017 and served as a member in the government of Tony Blair and Gordon Brown.
Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says Singapore's acting minister in charge of Muslim affairs, Faisal Ibrahim, has resigned over his interactions with a woman. Wong in the statement noted that most of their interactions took place through online messages, as they also met on the sidelines of public events. He added that both parties made allegations of harassment against each other and the matter is being investigated by the police.
Still on the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump says the latest strikes by his country has hit Iran, adding that the attacks were in honor of 3 U.S. soldiers killed recently in Jordan and Iraq. Earlier, U.S. Central Command said it had launched a new wave of strikes for the ninth consecutive night as explosives were heard across Iran. The U.S. said it had targeted military sites and communication networks to further diminish Tehran's attacks on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, however, said it had responded with a surprise attack in Syria and targeted U.S. aircraft at Jordan's Aqaba airport.
Emilia, did you watch
Yes.
the football match yesterday?
Of course I did.
You did.
What would have made me not to watch that match?
How was it to you?
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Sports enthusiasts have commended Federation of International Football Association (FIFA) for deploying top-notch technologies for the just concluded 2026 World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and United States of America. They spoke with Radio Nigeria correspondent Tosin at Dedebigbe in Akure, the Ondo State capital, after the final match between Argentina and Spain, with Spain emerging the winner.
The tournament, the 23rd edition of the Global Football Championship organized by FIFA, was held from June 11 to July 19, 2026. The competition was jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada, making it the first FIFA World Cup to be staged by 3 countries. It also featured an expanded format of 48 teams, up from the previous 32. The 2026 edition marked the return of the World Cup to its traditional June and July schedule after the 2022 tournament in Qatar, which was held in November and December due to weather conditions. Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan, and Uzbekistan made their FIFA World Cup debut, while host Canada, Mexico, and United States qualified automatically. Argentina entered the tournament as defending champions after winning the 2022 FIFA World Cup, but fell to Spain in the final as the European side secured a historic triumph. Meanwhile, 2 sports analysts, Mr. Okwe Adewale and Ms. Laure Ojo, have commended FIFA for the successful organization of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Technology was actually improved upon in this year. The goal line, technology, the small balls, the referee cameras, and so on and so forth. That has actually improved accuracy and transparency of decisions.
This AI has allowed correct decisions to have been made, especially with the tracker that has been put inside the ball to monitor contacts, offside and fouls. Another improvement I have noticed is the semi-automated offside technology that has been introduced to this recent World Cup. It has really helped.
Mr. Okwe and Ms. Ojo expressed optimism that the technological innovations introduced at the 2026 World Cup would continue to improve activities at the tournament without interference.
The first controversial decision was the red card given to Balogun, and I've never heard it before. That decision actually watered down the integrity of FIFA for Infantino to say President Trump actually called him. Is it because they are co-hosting? That's not a good one for me.
The officiating is not consistent because it feels like some teams have been favored, but I feel that there should be consistency. Why are there rules in the first place when some of these rules are not favoring some players?
In the meantime, a resident of Akure, Mr. Adikoke Olaolu, have congratulated Spain on winning the 2026 FIFA World Cup, describing the European side as the best team throughout the tournament.
Spain deserved to win the cup. They were the better side. They came prepared. They played as if they wanted to win. So kudos to the best team.
The excitement of the 2026 FIFA World Cup final was resonated among children who expressed mixed emotions over the outcome of the tournament. Temi Aderibigwe, an Argentina supporter, said he was disappointed that his favorite team failed to retain the World Cup title after losing to Spain in the final.
I was rooting for Argentina because my best player is there, but unfortunately they lost. But sometimes you win some, you lose some.
On his part, Tani Jeremiah, a Spain fan, expressed delight over his team's victory, describing the triumph as a well-deserved reward for Spain.
I'm super happy and I'm excited that my star player Lamine Yamal won the cup at his young age, so I'm proud of him and Spain at large.
The children joined millions of football fans around the world in celebrating another successful FIFA World Cup while looking forward to the next edition of the Global Football Showcase. For Radio Nigeria in Akure, Tosin Aderibigwe.
All right, we're still talking sports, and we are still in Ondo State, of course. Now, chess enthusiasts have joined millions of players and fans across the world to celebrate International Chess Day, observed annually on the 20th of July. As the global chess community marks the occasion, players and promoters highlighted the game's role in promoting critical thinking, education, youth empowerment, and national development. Our correspondent Isaac Afolabi tells us more.
The team Celebrate, Create and Make a Difference for this year's International Chess Day was designed to create an atmosphere of positive thoughts using sports in changing lives. Chess players said the theme was befitting of the celebration because just like on a chessboard, every decision people take in their daily lives matter as it shapes its trajectory of their journey. A chess player, Mr. Olubenga Shile, said this year's celebration was an opportunity to chess lovers to use the sport as a a catalyst for societal development. He recounted the exploits of global chess players like Tunde Onokoya as a means of promoting the sport in Nigeria and putting the country in the global map, which marked the 102 years since the formation of the International Chess Federation.
The achievements of a renowned Tunde Onokoya has gone further to put chess on the map, especially in Nigeria. This has made the world more interested in Nigeria as a country, wondering where this person who has been able to do so much for chess came from.
A chess promoter, Mr. David Philip, who made use of chess as a platform for women and youth development through the production of locally made chess sets in Akure, pointed out that the day was set aside to create more awareness about chess and to give the game a better facelift, both locally and globally.
Chess, just like math, is the music of reasoning. So I believe that the students who is well articulated when it comes to the mastery of playing chess will actually be able to solve real life problems.
Another chess player, Mr. Babatunde Ogunshiku, said the day was special to showcase evolution of chess and recognize achievements of everyone affiliated with the game. Other respondents enjoined the government at all levels to play their part by making chess a household game in Nigeria.
Chess should be inducted as a curriculum in the educational sector.
There is a chess for mental health, for development, a whole lot of different initiatives that chess can fit in to advocate for a cause. And the fact that chess is a low-cost game that has high impact.
Chess enthusiasts encourage Nigerians to get involved in the game because of its benefits, especially the mental well-being. In Akure, Isaac Afolabi, Radio Nigeria.
In today's Heart of the Matter, Olawale Ashake of our Current Affairs Unit writes on Senate leaders' call for consideration of a single 6-year term for the executives.
The recent proposal for consideration in the next assembly by the Senate leader and the lawmaker representing Ekiti Central, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, urging constitutional amendment for a single 6-year term for the president and state governors was brought to the front for a debate and discussions that have lingered in the country for years. The argument in support of the proposal for consideration is straightforward, as many people believed that the few elected leaders do spend too much time and public resources while seeking second term in their respective offices. For instance, barely 2 years after the assumption of office, with various political calculations, permutations, alliances, and campaigns often overshadowed the real governance that ought to have been beneficial to the citizens. A single 6-year term, some of its supporters believed would free leaders from the pressure of re-election and allow them to focus entirely on implementing policies, programs, and delivering meaningful development. There is also the belief that such a system could reduce the enormous financial burden of elections, as it is well known in Nigeria that conducting presidential and governorship elections every 4 years requires huge public expenditure. Whereas if elections are held less frequently, some funds could be rather channeled into education, healthcare, infrastructure, agriculture, power, and other critical sectors that have direct impacts on the lives of Nigerians. Under the current arrangement, citizens have the opportunity after 4 years to assess the performance of their leaders and either renew or reject their mandate through the next elections. That opportunity serves as incentive for people in government willing to seek re-election to remain accountable and responsive to the needs of the people. If a single 6-year tenure is considered, proposed, passed, and becomes law, what happens when an elected leader fails to meet expectations? Definitely, Nigerians would have to wait until the end of the 6-year term before expressing their verdicts at the polls. Their concerns cannot be ignored. Beyond the issue of tenure, many observers argue that Nigeria's governance challenges originate more from weak institutions, corruption, poor policy implementation, and inadequate accountability than from the number of years spent in office. Simply changing the tenure of elected officials may not automatically translate into better governance. as the Senate is to consider the proposal possibly in the next assembly. The discussion should go beyond politics. It should focus on what best serves the interest of the country and strengthens democratic governance. Constitutional amendments should emerge from broad consultations and reflect the collective aspiration of every Nigerian. If it sees the light of the day, the proposal for the consideration will present another opportunity for all the citizens, legal practitioners, civil society organizations, CSOs, registered political parties, and other relevant stakeholders to contribute meaningfully to the national discourse. It is imperative to know that whether Nigeria retains the current 4 years renewable tenure or 2 terms for the executives, or eventually adopts a single 6-year term, if scaled through, the real measure of democratic success will always remain accountability, good governance, transparency, and leadership that puts the welfare of the people first.
That script on the Senate leaders' call for consideration of a single 6-year term for the executive was written by Olawale Ashake of our Current Affairs Unit and read by Ariola Dada.
Now, do you know species of bats that feed on the blood of livestock at night? Let's join Muyolua Afolabi for details.
The common vampire bat is a small leaf-nosed bat native to the Americas. It is one of 3 extant species of vampire bats, the other 2 being the hairy-legged and the white-winged vampire bat. The common vampire bat practices hematophy, mainly feeding on the blood of livestock. The bat usually approaches its prey at night while they are sleeping. It then uses its razor-sharp teeth to cut open the skin of its host and lap up their blood with its long tongue. The species highly polygamous and dominant adult males defend groups of females. It is one of the most social of bat species with a number of cooperative behaviors such as social grooming and food sharing. Because it feeds on livestock and is a carrier of rabies, the common vampire bat is considered a pest.
That feature on vampire bat was written by an intern from Ifatos University, Cotonou, Benin Republic, Adeola Alatishe.
You did that well.
Thank you.
To end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, here again are today's top stories. Nigeria has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to regional integration, democratic governance, peace, security, and sustainable development across West Africa. Members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers NURTW and Road Transport Employees Association RTN have staked a protest following alleged maltreatment, killings, and abuse of power by the Alhaji Nuruddin Alowonle and Mr. Akim Karim's leadership of both unions in Osun State, calling for their immediate arrest and prosecution. Former Mayor of Great Manchester, Andy Bonham, has been appointed as the 7th Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Lastly, we brought you the report that says Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says Singapore's acting minister in charge of Muslim affairs, Faisal Ibrahim, has resigned over his interactions with a woman.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Well, this was put together by Mudupe Toba. I'm Emilia Ujimudia, thanking you for joining us. And from my colleague,
Dayo Adinuga, good afternoon once again, and thank you for listening.